Alright, you guys should already know by now my favorite series that I have been doing on this channel for the last 2.5 and nearly 3 years now has been the portfolio updates that I do every month to transparently show my current buys, sells, dividends every month, and how my investing strategy has changed over time. It's a great way not only to promote transparency amongst the finance community, show a little personality, but also really document my progress. Like if I blow up one day, people are going to go back to these videos and watch that AT&T was my #1 position for a long period of time and absolutely flame me for it. So it's just an honest way to show my transparency. And today, for the first portfolio update of 2024, we have a really good one. It's a big month for dividends. We got some special dividends, a huge month when it comes to portfolio reconstruction, buys, sells, and more. If you guys want to go back and watch all my other portfolio updates, the link's in the description for the entire playlist. With all that out of the way, make sure to check out the Dividend Stocks Not Drugs merchandise, the best looking merchandise you can get today. The link is in the description box for that. Thank you, and roll the intro.
Dividend talks is a fraud, probably the biggest fraud, a bigger fraud than Hillary.
Hello, I like money.
So currently my portfolio value is sitting at $22,345.62. Now, from about a month ago, that's up from about $21,800. Currently, I have over $1,400 in cash. Now, I basically had a lot of money sitting in a bunch of bank accounts, and I got that all straightened away this month. So I had a huge deposit into the account this month. Overall, though, I've been really patient with my cash, and I plan to be more conservative with it. I want to hold about 5 to 10% of my portfolio value in cash just for any good buying opportunities, because I've learned in the stock market, it seems whenever I don't have cash, that's when my favorite stocks dip. So I'm coming prepared this time. But overall, the gains are really nice. My portfolio has been hovering around above $22,000, so it's a little bit of a milestone once again. 25K is obviously the big next number, but we're going to continue kind of surfing here, and eventually, hopefully, a nice dip comes. I will say this, though, I have been trimming out of a good amount of stocks and selling out. I'm just trying to find a good 5, 10, 15 companies that I can really feel confident about holding for 40, 50, 60 years and have a really solid chance of outperforming or doing well with the market. Look, I'm not Blosif Carlson, guys. I'm not going to compare year-to-date performance and claim I have these winning stocks. I'm just buying really great companies and holding for a long time. That's my investing strategy. Call me Blosif, though, because I am underperforming the market by about 3% right now. Look, I'll say this. I think that comparing, market performance in the short term, and I call that 5 to 10 years, I think that is short term. I think it's really stupid. You see a lot of channels who constantly focus on month-to-month performance. How am I doing against the S&P 500? And in my opinion, that just leads to a lot of panicking and a lot of people who are just really insecure in their investments. I still believe over the long term, I will be just fine. As I consolidate my positions and buy even really, really good companies that I've done my research on, I'm selling out of a lot of companies that are staples and really stable companies at the end of the day, but really just underperform. And that's been a huge reason why my portfolio hasn't been by the S&P 500 standards recently. And I'd expect that to change in the next 5 to 10 years, but obviously time will tell. I did mention, though, there were a lot of big dividends this month that I was looking forward to, and let's get into those right now. January is quickly becoming a really, really solid month for me in my dividend income. A lot of companies that are building up as core positions, aka Vici, are having crazy payouts now. To start off, I got a whopping 52 cents in interest. I'm not trying to brag or anything, but that's financial independence, retire early kind of stuff right there. But really, to start the month off, I got a whopping 48 cents from Nike, which I reinvested back at an alright price at $104. I want to load up on Nike if it ever goes back to the $90 price range. I think it's a solid company. Definitely going to be a medium tier position in the portfolio, though. Really quality free cash flow growth there, but a lot better opportunities in my opinion. Then, this is the big one, I got $13.35 from Vici Properties, which I reinvested at $31.79, buying me an extra half a share almost. Now, Vici is a company that I've been buying like crazy, and if you're on the Discord, link in the description, everybody's been buying the stock up recently. But overall, though, Vici is such a stable business, it has really good margins, especially for a REIT, and it's really unique when it comes to its properties that it's owned, and I think they have a lot of growth ahead of it as well. That's why I'm so bullish on it. And honestly, I've been loading up on Vici this month, as you'll see in the buy segment, so my next dividend payout from Vici is going to be absolutely wild. And Vici is very quickly becoming a core position in the portfolio, which I am 100% fine with. Then, rest in peace everybody, I got my last ever dividend from PepsiCo, stock ticker PEP, at $2.69. Rest in peace, thank you for your service, we'll talk about that in the buys and sell segment. Then I got my first ever dividend from Disney, the Walt Disney Company. First ever dividend from them for being a shareholder for 4 years now. Better late than never. I got $1.50 from them, and I reinvested that back into them. My first ever fractional share with Disney, so thank you and welcome to the club. Then I got $13.33 from Altria stock ticker MO. Now, that's an increased payout from about 20 cents from my last Altria payout, and I haven't even bought any more shares. That's just from dividend reinvestment at these really, really low prices and dividend growth from Altria at that 4% growth. At the end of the day, though, Altria, in my opinion, is an undervalued company right now. They're producing a lot of free cash flow at the end of the day. They actually just recently reported earnings that were very solid and announced a $1 billion share repurchase program. I think this is absolutely huge for shareholder value, especially at these really, really low prices. So, with my reinvesting in Altria back at these low prices, I believe right now it is a very undervalued stock, but I already have a sizable amount of Altria in my portfolio, and I don't really want to have it above that 2.5% range. Altria was meant to be a decent sized holding, but nothing nowhere near a core holding. So I like where it's at right now, and I'm going to continue reinvesting my dividends and increasing that snowball. Then I got my first ever special dividend in my investing journey. Thank you, Costco. I got $5.01 from them. It's $5 I didn't have yesterday, and I can buy like half a Starbucks drink with that. And then lastly for the month, I got my monthly dividend from Realty Not Reality Income of $4.26. Altria has been a company that I haven't been buying any more of recently. I think it's a decent company, and I think it's undervalued. If it ever got above $65, I'd probably exit out on my position. Realty Income's another example of that kind of short-term dividend snowball effect with yield and value, so good to see there. Looking at my monthly dividend income since 2022, we can see that it's been just trending up over time, and I think as the year goes on, you're going to see a lot more consistency in those months, as I'm really kind of done selling out of a lot of positions in the portfolio, as you'll see. But it's my largest month when it comes to January payouts, so very good to see there. Thank you, Vici. Alright, so this was one of the biggest months ever in the portfolio when it comes to portfolio reconstruction, which is basically rebalancing my portfolio and buying higher quality companies. Just basically making it more lean at the end of the day. I just call it trimming the fat. To start the month off, though, I put $50 in Union Pacific, $239. I think that's a solid price for UNP. I actually just made a UNP stock analysis video. Highly recommend you go check that out. Then I sold out of my entire position at Johnson & Johnson, pretty much flat at $162. Johnson & Johnson, I think, is an extremely overrated dividend stock. They pretty much have a 4% growth rate every year when it comes to their financials, and really there's just so many better options for me, my time horizon and my situation. So thank you to Johnson & Johnson. I'm sorry for Pierre for PK Investing. So with that money from Johnson & Johnson, I had about $400 to play with, and I put $100 into Starbucks at $93.90, an amazing company at a fair price. Then I bought 3 shares of Vici at $31.79. I put $100 into Visa at $262, which just recently reported earnings, and then I put $30 more into Starbucks later that week. Overall, though, just really adding more quality into my core holdings. A new position here is TKO, and I bought 1 share of TKO at $79.57. TKO is a smaller position in my portfolio. They do pay a dividend right now. I actually made a TKO stock analysis too. Highly recommend you go check it out. Recently, Netflix is paying $5 billion for their content to stream on. Essentially, it's the WWE and UFC in one big parent company. What's there not to love? That's the epitome of a real man's investment. Then I bought 2 more shares of Vici at $30.21. There's a reoccurring theme here. Then I sold out of my entire Pepsi position. Once again, rest in peace. Thank you for your service. But at the end of the day, Pepsi was a really small position in my portfolio. I saw better opportunities for my capital. I saw some good opportunity costs in the portfolio. And at the end of the day, Pepsi's dividend payout ratio is pretty high, and their free cash flow growth is really nothing crazy when there's other positions in my portfolio I'm a lot more higher convicted on and I think are trading at fair prices. So with that money from Pepsi, I put it into 3 more shares of Vici. Then I bought 1 more share of Starbucks at $92.04. I put $100 into Visa at $272, and then after earnings it fell a tiny bit and I had $30 more into Visa. Overall, though, I'm just loading up on Visa when I think it's at a fair price, actually looking at its free cash flow and PE. And lastly, of course, I had to buy 2 more shares of Vici at $30.12 on the decline we had this week. But overall, a very solid month when it comes to portfolio reconstruction. I definitely think I loaded up on some quality holdings, and I sold out of some weaker holdings for my time horizon and my situation at least. I think Johnson & Johnson and Pepsi are absolutely amazing companies and businesses, but at the end of the day, they only have limited growth ahead of them. And I think in my portfolio and in my circumstance, I think there are so many better opportunities when it comes to total returns and growth over the long term. but I definitely do not think that these are horrible holdings whatsoever. They're just not right for me, and I messed up on my investing process, and I had to learn along the way. But it's not like I lost a whole lot of money. I actually came out on gains on both the holdings, barely on Johnson & Johnson. I want to thank you for making it to the video. It greatly means a lot to me. I can't even put into words. Thank you. Let me know in the comment section what's your favorite part of the portfolio update. For me personally, the giant VG dividend. Alright, thank you guys. Check out the Do Dividend Stocks Not Drugs merchandise. Smash the like button, subscribe, and of course, Do Dividend Stocks Not Drugs. Have a good one.